name is Sarah Tober. I'm the executive of the Economic Development Alliance. This is our monthly investor member meeting. Thank you for being here. We're going to go ahead. So we're going to have our local government partners update first. But before we get started, we like to do a little thing called you have to stand up and say your name and where you're from if you've never been to one of these meetings. So, who has not been to a meeting here before?
I'm Charlie Love, the Soil Outdoor Learning Lab with the Durango School District.
Thanks for having me. I'm not new, but it's been a while since I've been here, and I wanted to spell a rumor out there. I'm not retired. I'm not retiree. My firm was acquired by RMW County. And so what's cool about that is that it's still the same local team here in Durango serving my clients with tax and business advisory. And now we have the backing and support and tech stack of a national firm and resources. So we're still here. And Sharon Clark is
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Jones. I recently joined the Women's Resource Center as the new executive director. And I'm so privileged to have this honor to be here right now. The first thing I'm doing is kicking off a listening tour. So if anyone's interested in sitting down and having a very real conversation, please reach out. I'd love to.
I'm Jessica Mitchell. I'm with Animas Water Company, a small public water system north of town.
Please, thank you for being here. Anyone else?
It's been a while, so I'm Philip Renhack with SEH.
Hi everyone, Kate Swazo, Maria's Literary Foundation.
Good to see you. Yeah, to see you.
Good morning, I'm Sean Satterfield, Development Manager with Plata County Humane Society. I've got the coolest coworkers in town, a bunch of dogs and cats, so that's pretty sweet. But if anyone's interested in learning more or supporting what we do, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
All right, let's go into local government partners update. City of Durango, Kip Koso.
I saw Jack Llewellyn and Mike French sporting one of these over the course of the last year, so I decided to get on trend. Thanks, Jack. You are my role model. First farmers market was on Main on Saturday. 138 vendors, 3,500 attendees in great weather. So that turned out really great. So thanks for everybody who came down. That's a fantastic event, and we look forward to continuing those. Bump Out program on Main Avenue is launched. We've got 11 businesses, about the same number that we had last year. This is year 4 out of 5. So City Council will decide next year whether we want to continue this or not, but that's going ahead and started. We've got our parade of projects. So this is Public Works, Parks and Rec, and Transportation departments. They're showing off what they're doing for capital projects. So this will be at the library tomorrow, May 13th, 5:30 p.m. So if you want to see where your tax dollars are going, capital project wise, come visit us and talk to staff there. City will share the latest design updates for City Hall and Police Department project at the old high school, 5:30 to 7 p.m. on Wednesday, May 20th next week. Personal appeal here, we're really looking for photos of the interior of the old high school. So some of you have been here a long time. Where's Clark and everybody? If you've got photos, that'd be great, but more likely we know some folks, Jack Turner looking at you back there, that went to that high school. If you can find some photos, upload them to the Engage Durango website. If you know somebody who has photos and they are not tech savvy, they're tech adverse, let me know. And we want to get these photos and hopefully do some homage to all the iterations that building has had over the years. So very important. City Council and city staff are in the process of discussing changes to temporary signage. So think these temporary banners that we put up for sales and special events. BID is involved in those conversations. So if you've got feedback on use of temporary signage around the city, talk to Tim and his team or talk to City Council. We'll be making changes to those rules and regulations. Basically, we're going to try and extend the time that you can keep the banner up, but also extend the time in between times that you can post those sale banners. So important to talk to us about those as we make those changes. Memorial Day is coming up, Iron Horse Bike Race, I think 1,750 riders. So looking forward to that. Everybody knows we have a series of crazy mountain bike related stuff going on for the next few years. So very excited about that. Many of you are probably participating in Animas River Days, 3-day event at the end of the month. So that'll be about 2,000 attendees. Closing out, I want to mention the city has released results from our community survey. So thanks for anybody who participated in that survey, really important. 84% of residents rate the city's overall quality of life as excellent or good, and that's up from 79% in 2023. So we're headed in a good direction there. 85% rate safety as excellent or good. Parks and rec programs rank the highest of everything. So we are a parks and rec city. And then economic health and affordable housing did not do so good. So the work that this group is doing is still very much needed. So thanks for that. So thank you very much. Talk to me after.
Let him fool you, he was wrestling with the hair. Okay, and wait for Ryan.
Morning, everyone. So a quick update on Rock Creek. We have 1 unit left in phase 1 and 7 units about to come online in phase 2. So if anyone knows any employees or anyone looking for some affordable housing, please reach out and we'll try and get you situated with through the whole process and get you going on that. And then a couple events we've got going on. Of course, graduation is coming up. So hats off to all the grads and any parents out there. Good job getting them to the finish line. July 11th, Music in the Mountains is going to be on Shoshone Park, so come out for that. Maybe grab some dinner while you're out there. One of our great spots to grab dinner. And then lastly, July 25th, the San Ignacio Parade and events are going on out in the park. So come join us for a fun time.
Gilbert could not be here this morning, and John Waters had to pass family, so we're going to move into federal government update for Wyatt Bear.
Hey everyone, Wyatt Bear, Southwest Regional Representative for Senator Michael Bennett. Last year, I think we remember when there were a few people in Congress trying to sell off our public land. There were places that were eligible for sale through the budget process, such as Twin Buttes, East Animas, Junction Creek, Animas Mountain. These are places that make Durango who they are, and Plata County who we are. But a couple of weeks ago, Senator Michael Bennett introduced a bill, we're calling it the Public Lands Integrity Act. This would take the ability to sell off public lands out of the budget process, because public lands should be held in public trust and are held in public trust for all of our benefit in perpetuity and should not be used for short-term partisan budget priorities, especially tax cuts for millionaires. And then I came up here, I think last month, and talked about the major disaster declaration request and the denials that happened from the administration. I think I said that we were kind of at the end of the road here. There wasn't really a step. Well, our team and Senator Hickenlooper's team, we put our heads together and we introduced legislation called the Disaster Declaration Transparency Act, which, if it were to pass Congress, would allow Congress to override the president's denial of a major disaster declaration request, specifically for the flooding that we saw in Vallecito and in Pagosa Springs and in Mineral County, because we understand that these rural areas, they don't ask a lot from the federal government sometimes, and they have been hit the hardest by these disasters, and that they deserve the relief that they need, and that it should not be something based on state lines, should not be something based off of partisanship over who gets disaster aid when they need it most. So we'll keep you updated on where that bill goes. Thanks all.
Hey everyone, my name is Lisa Poole, Southwest Regional Director for Senator Hickenlooper, based here in Durango. My theme for this morning is federal funding. So first we're waiting news, and then some really great news. So the small business development centers in Colorado are still waiting for their funding. They're still waiting to get authorized to spend their federal money. Of the 60 small business development centers around the country, Colorado is one of 3 that hasn't been authorized to spend down their money yet. And we don't know why. So Colorado's delegation, including Senator Hickenlooper, Senator Bennett, we have definitely written letters to try to unlock this funding so that way our very own small business development center here doesn't have to, and then wave in the back, hello, doesn't have to spend down reserves. So really working hard on that. We know how crucial SBDCs are for small businesses here in Southwest Colorado and across the state, providing really important free trainings. I mean, you could list all the things that you do in her offices back there. So we're still working hard on that. The good news is some really important drought mitigation project funding was finally released as of yesterday afternoon. So the Department of Interior, well, the Bureau of Reclamation had, I want to make sure I get the right $4 billion in the Inflation Reduction Act, which passed a few years ago, for really important projects around the country. And I'm looking at you, Colton, because you probably know the news too. But we finally, so after 17 projects in Colorado were awarded, over $140 million worth of funding last January. So I'm talking a year and a half ago. Everything was frozen under review, but then finally we heard yesterday that projects were starting to move, finally getting released. So the Southern Indian Tribe has a massive project on the Pine River Indian Irrigation Project for over $16 million, really important for their drought mitigation efforts and habitat restoration there. And then the Southwest Water Conservation District worked really hard with a lot of small entities, actually including the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe, who put together this whole package for Southwest Colorado, over $25 million. And finally, and again, it's for habitat restoration, really important drought projects, which we're all thinking about this year as we are facing all sorts of drought restrictions. So that $25 million is finally starting to move for them too. So yay, good news for federal funding.
Thank you, Lisa. Amy Hub could not be here this morning after all, unfortunately. So she should hopefully be here next meeting. And here we go. Some of the things that the Alliance is working on, we are awarding our Alliance Internship Fund Awards. We have had 8 internships that have come forward that we will be funding. So we're very excited about that. Yeah, 10 actually. So we'll be funding 10 internships this summer. We're very excited about that. If you have any questions, do come and talk to us about it. The La Plata Opportunity Network, again, that is our resource for businesses that are scaling here. That's part of our building business capacity pillar of our mission. And so we have that local job board up and running. So it is movetodurango.com. So feel free to add jobs there. As well as there is housing resources and just resources in general of navigating this area as new folks are moving in for positions. And then the Air Park Economic Feasibility Study, we are on track. We have completed most of the initial surveying and interviewing of businesses and owners of the air park and La Posta. So we're very excited to be making progress on that. We do have, we don't have a drop dead deadline. We're aiming for the summer, like around July, to have this whole thing wrapped up. So very excited about that. The Catalyst Fund application is still open. So if there is any attainable housing for the workforce projects that you know of, please send them our way, as this is pre-development funds to help fund that workforce housing project up to $100,000 as a grant that can be used to match for Prop 123 dollars or other dollars that you can bring down from the state for these projects. We do have an employer housing opportunity that I wanted to bring up. Lightner Creek, which Bleecker is building out with the City of Durango. They have 29 units across a mix of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. So local employers could purchase units with the only deed restrictions being that they are a local employer and the housing is for their local employees, or they could pursue it upon completion with Elevation Community Land Trusts to market their units to employees. So these units would have income deed restrictions at less than 100% AMI, and the reservation process wouldn't provide a priority as units would be available on a first come, first served basis. So if you would like any more information about that, feel free to talk to us afterwards. We want to let employers and industry know about housing projects like this that are available for your employees. And then in Project Run, Workforce Development, we are wrapping up our Opportunity Now grant in partnership with Fort Lewis College and the Collaborative, but we are wrapping it up on a high note. We are doing an early child care educators business and leadership class that's taking place in June. We've had 11 registrants so far, and then Fundamental of Water Operator is the other class, and it has been full, and we had a waiting list for it. So it just demonstrates the need that we have for those water operators here in this rural area. And then we have our healthcare workforce pipeline internships, as well as the health pathway support. And Annie embodies all of that in our contract with Access and providing kind of wraparound support services for people who are interested in the healthcare pathway. And this can be full ranging. It can be nurse, it can be dental, it could be culinary, even in healthcare. So there are no limits in healthcare, and we are providing a number of stipends and wraparound support services again. So that kind of wraps up what we have been working on. And of course, the summit is coming up. It is September 10th. And we had our breakout session proposals open and closed. We've gone over that with the advisory board, and we are now putting together the full agenda. These are our keynote speakers, and we're so excited to have them coming here to the Four Corners on September 10th. We also wanted to put up for you some of those key stats. Last year, we had 350 attendees, and over 45% were in leadership. So it just kind of demonstrates the kind of experience you'll have if this is the first time that you have attended or you want to sponsor. Our sponsorships are sold out except for partner and supporter, and we would love to have those sold out as well. This has typically been a community benefit event, which means that the Alliance has not really monetized this or make money off of it. But we are trying to make it an actual fundraiser for the Alliance for the sustainability of our organization. But first and foremost, it will always be a community benefit event. And so that's why we're bringing in this caliber of speakers as well. So very excited to unveil the agenda to you all in June, likely, of what the full summit is going to look like. And with that, we're going to have some quarterly real estate updates from Dan.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Who read the Durango Herald quarterly reports for statistics in our area? Who cried when they read So, you know, I don't want to repeat a lot of the information that's out there. So I aggregated some things for 3-month rolling average and for just kind of a snapshot at the end of April comparing year over year. You know, overall, when you read the 10K statistics that come out to the public and the articles that get written, there are some highlights. 1, prices are up. 2, supply is down. It has been beaten into our heads since 2020. So let's talk a little bit about where we're at. So there is not a picture there. So if you look at the 3-month rolling average for active listings, that's not a real thing. This is not an updated slide. I sent 3 slide decks.
Oh, yeah.
This poor board has to deal with my inability to make PowerPoints. However, I did write them down just in case. So active at the end of April. When it takes these rolling averages, actives are a snapshot in time. So you can't really average that out. So just to point out, Durango's up 35% with 31 homes for sale. These are single family homes. Bayfield's up 38% with 69 homes for sale. And the county as a whole is up 21% with 245 single family homes for sale. So seeing that inventory increase, and this sine curve does show the correct picture, we are starting to see that inventory increase, which is really nice. Now, if we could just have the prices come down a little bit, right? All right. Sold listings. Now, this can be a 3-month rolling average. This is February, March, and April. So when you look at the solds, a similar looking curve, but it's almost a plateau with Bayfield and Durango, a little more sporadic. Seeing those troughs and peaks in a similar fashion. So we are down in Durango by 31% in sales. It's a matter of 4 houses because our sample size is so small, but it is a good storyline to show that because of the higher prices, we're seeing less sales, but we're seeing an increased inventory. So as the supply increases, you may see an end to that push on the highest price. Something else that should be pointed out is that a lot more homes are selling in the lower price tiers. Sub-million is about 40% of the market. I extrapolated the data for you because it's really fun or depressing to see where we've come, because it can inform us of where we might be going. So when you look at sold price per square foot, that is not a metric that you hear about in the headlines. It's also not something you should attach yourself to when you're analyzing data in real estate. However, it is quite an important piece of the puzzle and something I look at whenever I represent a buyer or seller who's talking about pricing. We have come up quite a bit. If you look right here, 2020, we had a very normal incline or steady increase. This can also be attributed to a similar line when you're talking about appreciation. How much prices raised in Plata County, Durango, Bayfield as a whole. You saw a very steady 8 to 10% increase for about a decade. Then the pandemic hit and boom, we're increasing these prices per square foot, with April being an average of $590 a square foot. So it's not the sky is falling, but this is a very interesting point to show that we are pushing continually, and it's due to lack of supply and continued demand. Everybody wants to be in Durango, and we just don't have enough space to build the number of units that is necessary to house all the people who are coming here that can remote work or getting awesome jobs at Agile or otherwise. All right, month supply. This is another kind of obscure metric that doesn't get talked about a lot, but the month supply is how many homes exist on the market for absorption. So how long will it take to absorb the entire market? A balanced market is 6 months of inventory. So what's really cool, again, look back. You bought in 2010, you did great. It was a buyer's market. Then you saw this fall off after the pandemic, and it quickly became a seller's market. When we had that pandemic happen, everybody's like, oh, I didn't know if I'd have a job still. But what ended up happening was people wanted to be out of city centers, and they came to places like Durango, bought up, we had 3 to 5 years of supply of properties, ranches, and nice homes over 2 million. Those got absorbed almost immediately, and you saw this uptick. So if you look at the sine curve though, we are trending back in the right direction. This is why I love zooming out and seeing what historically we're kind of like slowly staying steady with inventory. The month supply was right there above, in 2019 was a great time to buy. And I have a video out saying that back in 2019. And then we really were in a very dire situation with no inventory. And we were seeing multiple offers, not doing appraisal, not doing inspections. It was a very strange time in real estate. But now we are beginning to come back up, not to where we used to be, but somewhere in this normal range of 6 months supply. So if you look at Plata County at 5, it did touch a little bit over 6 at one point. Again, this is a snapshot in time. So Durango's about half of that. So, but look at the increase. So year over year, April to April, we're in a much better position to see a normalizing market. Takeaways, single family inventory has risen, which is giving buyers more options. It's a little bit of a farce because in-town Durango is still very, very tight. Closed sales of homes in town has dropped between the 3-month rolling average with an uptick countywide. Price per square foot has increased across the area. In-town Durango fetching an average of $590 a square foot just in April. The 3 months, and that That's supposed to read February, March, April. Saw a touch of balance in even seller's market. That was, again, edited this morning and sent. I'll send anybody the slide deck that's correct. If you want to see what my notes are. And long story short is we are seeing a slight correction in the sense that we are seeing increased inventory. We are also seeing people push hard on price, so it's hard for people to get in. I mean, with an average or a median price, $800,000 to $900,000, whether you're in the county or in Durango. So it's still hard to get first-time home buyers to buy. I heard yesterday anecdotally that the average age of a first-time home buyer is 40 years old now. So I do want to do one last thing, a little bit of trivia. You have 30 seconds? Sure. Sweet. Next time I come present, I'll shift to commercial because I think that's a really important part of our market as well. But I think more people are interested in housing. However, I'll line myself up with it. Free pin to the person who can tell me how many commercial properties sold in town this year to date. Good guess. No, it was more than that. Good guess. Three. Closer. 7.
4.
11.
1.
4.5.
Give up.
5.
This.
Nope, you have to hit it right on. 5. Have a close. 8. Who said 8?
I did.
8. There you go. And I'll do one more. So Bayfield, and you may have caught it up there, but Bayfield increased their solds year over year to a total of 13, which is a massive increase. Can you tell me the percentage increase year over year from 2020 or 2025? And I'll give you a hint. That percentage matches the year last year.
25%.
Went higher. 25. That's it. 225% increase from 4 to 13. Thanks, guys.
And now we would like to hear from Tiffany Lee, the Plata County Clerk.
Okay. Yeah, I cut into my time. I only have 8 minutes, and I talk a lot. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm Tiffany Lee, the Plata County Clerk and Recorder. And what is a county clerk? Hopefully all you guys know, but I get asked that all the time. And no, I do not collect taxes. We are in charge of elections, of course. We also run motor vehicles, so vehicle registration and titling in our county. Some county clerks also oversee driver's license. We don't here in the Plata County, although I get asked that all the time. And then we do land records, so anything to do with land. Our first record is 1874 to forward. So yesterday's records are history, right? That's my responsibility to preserve those. And then I have the honor of doing marriage licenses. So that's actually one of the more joyous part of my job. I do not do divorces, so that's good. So I just brought you some stats because I think this is kind of fascinating. Oh, my slides are on. But so you can see the number of registered voters from 2016. We had about 32,000. Right now we have 44,000. So we've seen a pretty significant jump in the last 10 years. But what I wanted to note is the independence. So independence was about 10,000. Now we're at 23,000. So you can see the major parties are staying pretty flat. They're not changing a whole lot, but that independent movement is significant. That's not only here in La Plata County, that's in Colorado and across the United States. We're seeing more and more people just choosing to go independent, okay? Part of that reason is because we have open primaries. So right now I'm working on the primary ballot as we speak. I'm gonna leave here and start testing the ballots. So those go out June 8th that week. Our military and overseas ballots go out this Friday. So that's for the primary, which is June 30th. So you'll see your candidates on there, and also the City of Durango will have a question on the ballot, which is unique for a primary. If you're an independent voter, so also unaffiliated, Colorado uses that terminology the same. You'll receive a ballot packet with a Republican and a Democratic ballot in it. You only pick one, please. If you pick two and you vote two, it doesn't count. And I think that's part of the reason why you see the uptick of independent also, is that we are open primary, so people get to make that choice. Come November, we don't care what party you are, you get the same ballot. Everybody does, depending upon where you reside, okay? Motor vehicle stats, so you can see like the vehicle transactions, that's primarily your vehicle registrations and renewals. It also might have a little bit of maybe a duplicate, not even a title, other types of transactions, but primarily that is your vehicle registrations. What I wanted to point out is the titles issued, so that's vehicle sales, is what that really is. So every time a new car comes in, comes to my office, and that's a new title that we're issuing. All of that paperwork we have to keep for 30 years. Every time you buy a vehicle, we are imaging that and keeping that record for 30 years. So that's another responsibility of the county. Thank goodness now it's all electronic, but motor vehicle, right now we see approximately 250 people a day in my office. We do have appointments now, so you can go on my website and you can get an appointment. I highly encourage it. It guarantees you that spot, and we block out 15 minutes for your time. Otherwise, the wait times are increasing. We're seeing growth. My staff is not increasing. I'm at 1992 staff levels because of the county budget, okay? So please bear with us and thank those folks in that office, because it's very challenging right now. As the summer upticks, we'll see 300 to 350 a day. That's just Durango. I also have a branch out in Bayfield that's open 2 days a week. Extremely busy office. Recording, this, you can just see the decline. I mean, this is exactly from what Dan was showing. This is the amount of recordings that came in my office in 2025 versus 2015. Marriages, we do see an uptick. 2021, I've done this 30 years, I should say. 30 years, and it's drastically different, obviously. 2021 was the busiest year of my entire career. We saw just a mass uptick of people coming here. And so I should have put a slide on that, just that data, but it's kind of tapering down now. Okay, so county clerks, we are, nobody knew who we were really until probably 2016-ish, somewhere in there. And then we started to kind of warmer, people started to know who we were. We are heavily involved in legislation. Right now, there's 69 bills that impact my office. So I spend a lot of time working through legislation, making sure how is it going to impact rural Colorado, preparing fiscal notes, doing testimony. Motor vehicle, we see a lot of legislation there, all your fees, those types of things. And then of course, always elections. There's always legislation. So we also are obviously monitoring a lot at the federal level. I just want to highlight, if the SAVE Act does pass, which I highly doubt it will, it's a massive impact to us. I will need at least 2 to 3 more employees. We'll have to fund it somehow. I could go on and do a whole presentation about that, but it is a very, very, very big bill and a big change for Colorado. It's taking us significantly backwards from what we have in our elections today. Executive orders, they have zero authority over our election process. So there is zero change in elections for Colorado coming from the federal government right now. Congress is the only one that can make those changes. So when an executive order is put through from the president, we disregard it. It's litigated the minute the pen hits the paper. We don't even acknowledge it. So I get asked that all the time. People are coming in right now. They're upset. They're handing me their passports. They're saying, are you going to take me off the rolls? What's happening to my voter registration? Nothing has changed for us, okay? Colorado has their own elections laws, and that's what we abide by. Okay, that's all I have. So looking there's time for Q&A, but here's my contact information. That was a lot. There's so much I could do. I did a presentation not too long ago and it was over 2 hours. So I can give you a lot of detail on elections, but if you have questions about anything my office does, but primarily around elections, I am your trusted source. I've been here a long time. Please come and talk to me. Don't believe what you see in social media, what you're seeing on the news. We are your trusted source to your county clerks, and come and ask us those questions. If you have concerns, you want to see a tour of what we do, how the election process is, I welcome that. There's people in this office that are in here that have come and done tours, and a lot of leadership of Plata folks have come to my office. I welcome you. I think it's the best thing you can do is to come in and actually see it versus hearing all the misinformation. I spend a significant amount of time now just dealing with the phone calls and people that are upset, thinking that there's fraud, and there's not. And that's just not just Colorado, that's across the United States. Election officials are working extremely hard. And unfortunately, across the United States, we're losing more and more election officials than we've ever seen. I'm up for office right now, and I guarantee you in Colorado, we will lose a significant amount of our county clerks are not re-running because it's too much. So anyways, with that, please reach out to me if you have questions.
Yeah, Tiffany is a force to be reckoned with. I did 2 flights of sky steps with her to get her to here. Next, we're gonna have Chris Pearson from Agile Space Industries.
Can everyone hear me all right? I lost my voice last week, so I might be pretty croaky, but you hear me at the back okay? All right, so I'm CEO of Agile. I was actually here, I just looked, February 24. So we'll get a little bit of an update from everybody. Who was here for that one, February 24? Okay, so new to most of you. Yeah, so who we are, we basically provide chemical propulsion, hardware and services into the space industry. So what that means is we help our customers not get to space. So we don't do the big rockets you see on TV. We do engines and support those engines for customers that want to move kind of through space. We're now 150 folks. I'm trying to think where we will have been back in February 24. I'm guessing probably about 70 or 80 folks. Hiring like crazy. I did get some stats this morning, so I wanted to make sure it's right. We've hired 80 people in Durango in the last year. We're now 154 as of this morning. And that was from 55, which was, when I joined the company back in early 2023. So what's kind of driving that? Obviously, the company's going like crazy. The last 3 years, we did more than 40% year-on-year revenue increase. So we actually closed last year about $28 million. This year, coming into 2026, we actually backlogged enough business already to do 50 million. So this is actually the hardest year of growth for us. It's about 80%. And I'm sure some of you in the audience kind of got hardware companies as well. Like, understand it's hard to scale that. It's not just kind of processing power and like an IT system. This is literally hardware people trying to scale. A little bit on fundraising, so thanks to the fact that they are an investor, economic investor in us. We've got to this point by raising about 40 million today. So that's actually really capital efficient compared to the revenue that we're actually achieving now. Closed a pretty major round for us. It was a Series A. This did make the news, so you may have seen this in January. That brought 20 million into the business, which we're now rapidly deploying. So as you can see, there's a lot of that money being spent here in So a little bit on I won't go through this in great detail, but what's kind of driving all this? It's just a great time to be in space at the moment. So got some stats here for you guys. You might like this. In 2010, there were 1,000 active satellites. Today, there are 15,000. Who wants to make a guess by how many there'll be by the end of the decade? Oh, don't be shy.
25,000.
50,000. 150,000. 100,000 by the end of the day. So someone needs to make the hardware that goes into that stuff. They don't assemble themselves. That's what's really driving things. And there's three kind of pillars in the space industry. The first one is kind of national security. If you've been watching the news, you see what's happened in Israel, intercepting missiles in space. You see what's happening in Iran. Missile defense is a big deal. What of that is space-based assets being actually engaging the missiles, tracking the missiles, detecting the missiles. Exploration is going under a big renaissance at the moment. Exploitation of the moon, trying to get those resources to do the stuff in space and use those resources on Earth. And then on the kind of commercial side of things, you've got a whole new raft of business cases. seem to open every week as the cost of the church goes down. All those people need propulsion, need to move around, to get off the rocket, get to where they're going to operate. They need to, if there are military spacecraft that need to be made or intercept missiles, then we have to be responsible space users, we have to get out. All those folks need propulsion. That's what's driving. Little bit of history. So we've actually been around for 15 years. The company began just over by the airport doing test services. In fact, even before that, we did mobile test services. So our founder, Dowdy Barnes, he was at the last one a couple of years ago. A lot of people here probably know him. He actually began the business with a converted ice cream truck, that he would take to people's facilities and do testing in their parking lots. We moved from that to actually setting up infrastructure here in Durango. That's what got the business going. Now got 2 test stands, and that's what we built on that capability. That gives us a really big kind of IP moat. To test chemical propulsion is not a simple thing. It's not environmental, it's not safety regulations you need to have in place. So that experience allowed us about a decade to kind of build up that capability before we started adding hardware about 5 years ago. We bought an additive manufacturing company in Pennsylvania to do a lot of our kind of build work, and that's allowed us to be highly vertically integrated. Really, our differentiator is not we're doing novel technology. This is old technology, but we're taking advantage of that vertical integration, taking advantage of how quickly to get hardware faster into folks' hands. So that's what's really driven things. So I did want to spend a bit of time on this in terms of locations. So traditionally, it's been Durango. It still is primarily in terms of employees. We have about 5 or 6 people up in Pennsylvania. That's the Heritage AM company that we actually bought. But we actually received a very large grant from the city of Tulsa last year. That was a $20 million grant, and it's literally cash for us to help scale our business, to really choke point in the industry, which is more test capacity. It's also from the Tulsa side, they want to attract other space companies in there with that infrastructure. We're not leaving Durango. The vision for the company is very much what we have here in Durango, is called an innovation hub. So the test facilities we have are highly versatile. We can bigger difference of products. That makes an awful lot of sense when you're doing initial kind of modification, trying to get a product to market. What we're seeing, especially on these big national security programs, is the volumes of it. That's a very different model. It's not about creativity and innovation. It's about reliable repeatability. It's about getting kind of build cycles down. That's going to be that's going to be where we're really going to scale things on the production side. So we're always going to have that innovation up here. Different space companies that I've been involved with, those two cultures don't always sit well alongside each other. So it's actually, I think, a positive thing for us. Seattle, Washington, you have to go where the talent goes. Blue Origin is there, SpaceX is there. There's a few other Aerojet Rocketdyne is there. There's a great source of engineering talent for us. So you're going to see us open an engineering office there. It's growing like crazy. One day I wanted to get on people's car map is we're expanding heavily here. So going back to that Series 8 deployment, buying a lot of equipment, but we're expanding the facility as well. So we've got a shop just down the street here in downtown. That's bursting at the seams. We have an existing facility up by the airport that's been bursting at the seams for about 12 months now. We've now taken to the front of that building that's being renovated. It's 40,000 square foot up there altogether. That's going to open on the 7th of August. I'd love to get some of the reps to come down and to see that. Things out to you with your offices already. But other local folks that haven't seen that invite, if you'd like to come up, please let me know when I can get you on the list there. There is another facility as well. It's going to be purely manufacturing that was leased. That's between here and the airport. It's just a machinery going there. To understand it, it's an old marijuana facility. It's got the most power. So yeah. So yeah, I think I'm everything I had. I know it's a really short time, but I will hang around. to kind of get off. I'd love to have the opportunity to answer questions. But yeah, thanks for your support, both financially and my investment side, also pushing through some of these developments. It takes a village. Thank you.
Chris mentioned the Alliance did invest in Agile, and we are so grateful that they are investor members with the Alliance as well. Manufacturing makes up about 1% of our economy here, and we could have about 14 to 16% easily be made up of manufacturing in our economy. So the Alliance finds it very important to diversify our economy and support industries like this. We're very grateful to have Agile here, and they will be speaking at the summit as well. So you can get part 2 of that as well. And now Charlie Love with the Soil Learning Lab.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Charlie Love. I'm the project manager at the Soil Outdoor Learning Lab, it's a project of the Durango School District. Let's see. This way, I think. Just a quick show of hands. Who's been up to the Soil Outdoor Learning Lab at Riverview? Maybe the folks here. So in 8 minutes, I'm going to try to tell you maybe half of what we're doing there and a quarter of what we have coming up. So we'll go fast. No time for an inspiring philosophical quote. As I mentioned, it's a project of Durango School District. Early on, we partnered up with the city Parks and Recreation to provide a community gardening space along with the educational programming that we do. So some of our stats here point to the amount of food that's grown on site, the number of field trips we're hosting. Where's that? We had almost 2,000 students last year. We already have 1,000 that have been up there this year. I have a field trip I need to get to right after this talk. And as well as just a lot of community programming. I'll talk about it. So it all started when I was teaching science at Riverview Elementary School, and at the same time, the Ohana Kuleana Community Garden was opening. And so I'd take all 4 approximately students down to the garden. It was amazing. The results were awesome. The kids loved it. The family loved it. Kids gardening side by side with the community. This special thing. It went away. It's being developed as a couple of houses currently. And when that happened, Dr. Chester was just onboarding with the Durango School District. The city was in need of replacing that facility because people were upset that there's not going to be a community garden anymore. And so also the district under Chester was oops, I didn't mean to do that, was rolling out the portrait of a graduate competencies, which aligned perfectly with this like crisis situation we were in. So we kind of embraced all those competencies, partnered up with the city, as I mentioned, and found this site at Riverview. So that purple outline, you can see where what it looked like previously is just basically dirt, weeds. And so the students, there's another perspective of it. The students who were upset and still had to come to me for science started brainstorming, getting in groups, getting on computers, getting out in the field, basically brainstorming what would be like their dream garden if we could recreate something. And the result was this 5-phase plan. We're currently working on the 3rd phase. I'll kind of go through those. And once this came out, and early funding came from Rod Barker, who saw the vision along with Dr. Chester. He kind of saw this as a community marquee kind of gathering place. Chester saw it as something that could serve the whole school district. I just wanted a garden for my students. And so within a year, here's kind of the timeline. We didn't miss a single growing season. The old garden shut down in October. Megan's husband, Kevin, came up with his excavator, started clearing space to prep for building fence and everything you see here. And that was kind of the theme. This is like all hands on deck. Parents of students, community, local businesses, private donors. Since that initial $100,000 that Rod Barker contributed to get some architectural plans and a website built and stuff. Since then, we've raised another $1 million in private donations, local business sponsors, grants, and none of this capital expenses landed on the district, though they do pay me to. So this is that first year. These are just, kindergartners up through. We had a lot of those college students come as well. So the educational programming just took off naturally really well. And then also the community programming. So we have a workshop up here. We have the Animus Night Bazaar in the lower left, volunteer work parties. Tonight we have a free workshop about planting pollinator-friendly landscapes. That's 5 to 6:30 tonight. We have something every Tuesday. Next week will be a volunteer party at the same time. So lots of community stuff that's free and open to the public. We're just trying to get a lot of people out there and doing the space. Doing a lot to engage with the indigenous community, Native American culture and traditions as they relate to agriculture. And then about just really a year ago, we finished the Grow Dome and opened that. So we just are in our first season really of growing, and that allows us to expand our educational programming into the winter months. And then so much innovation has resulted from that. There's some kids in there checking out fish in the pond and doing their notes. But with that, the high school engineering students got really engaged with some incredible, authentic problem solving, building prototypes to control climate, doing software programming, things that I don't even know anything about, but they're really good at it. Culinary classes coming, elementary school field trips were kind of our initial focus, and now we're currently developing a full curriculum for middle school. And then I feel like high school is we're just gonna keep tying into the different career technical education with engineering. We'll see some stuff the graphic design students did this spring that's incredible. This is stuff DHM did. So showing the phase 3, the hub here in the middle. It's gonna be open to the public, amusement park, exploratorium, lab, experiments on a lot of different levels. So we're fundraising for that right now. Just kind of some renderings of it. Art studio, a watershed model. There'll be a 40 to scale model of the Animus watershed for doing all kinds of simulations, experiments, and just water play. And to sit through your imagination hill, living soils lab, whole thing. This is something that the engineering students, one group of engineering students put together, developing a concept for that watershed model. This hand crank to drive the water cycle. This is what the students did since March and April, developing some renderings of what phase 4 will look like. And we'll find out if we get a DOLA state grant for $1 million. We'll find out next month, and that will fund the rest of phase 3, this phase 4. That's going to be awesome and another community asset. Really innovative. I don't think there's anything like this in the country, really. And then if we do get that funding, now we'll have a few years to build that out, a few years, and then we'll start fundraising and campaigning to build the Inspire Center, which will be our first kind of brick and mortar, permanent bathrooms to replace the porta potties that the state plumbing board said we can only use for a couple more years. And then, so that would be down here, Photoshop in there or whatever, but, and a floor plan, but that's going to provide commercial demonstration kitchen. That'll be to really accelerate the workforce development, career technical education opportunities, as well as startup, things like that, for food related businesses. So these are the sponsors to date, foundations. And for all of you, I just invite you to come out, have a visit, learn more about it that way. Go to our website, www.soillab.org. It's not even on there. And it is on there. Okay, cool. And all of this these are ideas from community members, business owners, students, government leaders. So we want your ideas too, because you all have different perspectives and you kind of know what our community needs and what you'd like to see in it. So we want input from everybody in the room, everybody in the community in regards to that. And then of course, we're always fundraising and we're always looking for volunteers, and we have some social media.
Thank you. I get to pack two project updates in 3 minutes to get you out of here on time. First one I want to talk about is Buckskin Charlie. This is apartment project that we built on the Southern Indian Reservation. This, if you're familiar with where the BIA offices are, or the softball fields there in Ignacio. This is 60 units. This will be, looking at FCI, C of O's later this month. We'll be opening it up for occupancy in June. Of the 60 units, there's 230 unit buildings. We've got 26 1-bedroom, 24 2-bedroom, and 10 3-bedroom units. This project was really championed by the Southern Indian Tribal Council, and it was designed to 3 things. One is tribal member housing. So yes, it is on reservation. There will be a tribal member preference in this. But number 2, it's to serve tribal employees. And 3, it will be to serve the other essential workers in the community. So yes, it will be open to the public, other than tribal members and tribal employees. The really cool part about this is the way that they've championed this, the pricing. And so 1-bedrooms are going to be between $800 and $900 a month. 2 bedrooms, $1,200 to $1,300 a month. 3 bedrooms, $1,500 to $1,600 a month. The website is up, so you can just search Buckskin Charlie Apartments. It'll take you to buckskinCharlieAPTS.com. There is an application process, so if you know someone that's kind of fits that essential worker category, if you've got employees that are looking for housing, they can go on and apply at this point. And as soon as we have that final C of O, start moving people in. All right, so that's the big one there. Again, this is Tribe's the largest employer in the county, and they felt the pressure of housing just like anyone else. This is them stepping up and taking a big chunk of this. For perspective, 60 units. I'll look at you folks. I think there's only about 450 residential units in Ignacio right now. So this is a significant inventory coming into that market. There's going to be a whole slew of economic development that follows this, in my opinion. We've got Colton Black with the Tribe's Economic Development Group with us. Raise your hand, Colton. So actually, this will go to Colton on the operational side. So I'm more on the construction side. We're working on the transition. We do have Avenue 5, which is a national property management company coming in to manage this. All right, so we can answer any questions afterwards. I'm already out of time to talk about Three Springs. All right, picture worth 1,000 words. 2004, a photo of the Three Springs area. This is 2025, 21 years of development, Three Springs. See here the hospital. This is Maverick over here, just to give you some perspective. The couple of exciting projects. Number 1, school. School is moving forward. The construction of the road is happening right now. They're looking to break ground in June for the actual school and have that open by 2028. Then we'll get more into this as far as I can speak on what's identified here. This is Three Springs Crossing. This is where the Subaru dealership is for Marhart Murphy. The Ace Auto Fix is now open. But I also want to talk to you about this. All right, so anything that is mine, I can talk with specifics, but I'm paying attention to everything that's going on. So right now, Affinity Apartments, 162 units. They've opened their first building. They're looking to open their second building. They'll be opening up additional buildings throughout 2020. through 2026 and into 2027. The school district property up here is where the school is going to be located approximately here. But this road is under construction with groundbreaking coming soon on that piece. If you've been out to Three Springs, this lot is under construction. That is Spine, Colorado, and Four Corners OBGYN are building a building. They will move out of the hospital MOB here into their own building once that is complete. Let's see, coming down, fire district funding. There will be start of this, I think this fall, probably August timeframe. You're gonna see Station 4 being constructed here at Three Springs. BOA has an option on this parcel here. They've got 53, 55 plus affordable units. They have an ability to put another 47 units on this parcel here. Moorheart Murphy, Subaru, the Ace Auto Fix. This is the parcel that was sold to Farmers Fresh. This is sold to Alpine Bank. This is sold to Durango Dermatology. P&E Holdings is a group. I'm under a, I can't tell you what it is agreement. You can figure out what that is. Greater, this property here, you've got the Mesa Verde Estates, the senior living that's opening up. This intersection is now lit and functional. This lot here is Eagle Credit Union. This is for sale. This is the 500 apartments that you may have heard about in the paper. Last I heard, they're talking about starting that in 2027. Summit Church, or First United Methodist, now Summit Church. That's this parcel here. Haven't heard what's happening here. This was at one point rumored to be the Toyota dealership. Tarpley's, I don't think they're moving out here. Moving this way, for sale, U-Haul storage here. Home 2 Suites, I saw iron put on that property yesterday, so they're starting the construction of that. This is Starbucks, this is for sale, this is Maverick, this is Sweet Donuts. So, that's a sense of what's going on out there. I'm happy to stay and answer any questions, and I know that we're over. Thank you very much.
Community announcements, we have local rental assistance flyers in the back if you're interested in that program. And we will have a small business forum tomorrow. He has organized this for Vector Bank, as well as JJ wanted to say that the local event marketing grant is open. Do you want to say anything else?
Yeah, up to $5,000, any local event, application closes on the 31st. You can apply on the website.
Thank you. And did you want to say anything, Jeff?
Check our website. We got a lot of cool stuff going on.
Thank you for being a part of the conversation. Our next meeting is June 9th, and thank you. Appreciate it.